Other art supplies. There are other art supplies that you might need when working with soft pastels. Let's look at each one. Erasers. There are many different brands and kinds of erasers on the market. I do not suggest using an ordinary eraser when working with soft pastels, as there are other ways to correct your drawing. But if you really need to erase something, I suggest using a kneaded eraser. This is a pliable eraser that will lift the pigment out of the paper and it does not damage the surface. Remember though, do not rub, simply tap your work in the area you need to take the pigment away. Blending tools. There are many different blenders out there today, but in my experience, I did not find anything better than my own fingers. Color shapers. Color shapers come in different sizes and shapes, and are kind of a stick with a silicone tip. These are useful when you need to blend a very tiny or narrow area where your finger does not manage to do the job. Paper stumps. Paper stumps are similar to color shapers and do the same job, with the difference being that they are made of rolled up paper. You can make your own or buy ready ones in art supply shops. I found that paper stumps lift away the pigment off of the paper a lot more than color shapers or fingers do. Pan pastel blenders. There are special pan pastel blenders that come in different shapes and sizes. Some look very similar to makeup sponges. These can be bought in sets or together with a pan pastel set. Do note that when using on abrasive surfaces, they wear out quite soon and need replacement. Hard pastels. You can also use hard pastels or pastel pencils for blending. This will not only blend the layers of pastel, but will also add a veil of color from the hard pastel itself. For sure, this is an interesting technique to try. Wet wipes. You will need to keep your hands clean when working with soft pastels, as it is very easy to pull a dark color into your light colors unwittingly when your hands are covered in pastel. This is where wet wipes or paper towels come in. I prefer using both, as it's imperative that you do not put wet fingers on paper which is covered with pastels, as it might ruin your work. This way, I wipe my hands with a wet wipe and then dry them with a paper towel before switching colors. Brushes. Another thing you might need is an inexpensive brush. This can be used when you need to brush away an area if the tooth of the paper is too full and you would like to correct that particular area, or to add a wash of water, alcohol, or mineral spirits. Do remember not to use expensive brushes for this. The stiffer the brush usually, the better, as the paper, especially if it's an abrasive kind of paper, will ruin your brush quite quickly. Masking tape. Use masking tape to attach your paper to the drawing board. This will allow you to work with pastels without moving the paper while you work. Make sure that the tape is acid-free to prevent the paper from becoming yellow over time.